1993. I'm older than at least this game. Hello and welcome to Keeping BZ. This time we're doing Aladdin on Super Nintendo, one of the very few licensed games that come to mind that are actually good.
Yeah, especially in this era. I mean, you could find select ones that are okay, but there's very few in the 90s where I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, the best movie-based tie-in games. But for whatever reason, Capcom had a knack for turning out some decently solid ones in both the NES and Super Nintendo era. I did not grow up with this version of Aladdin. This is the Super Nintendo version. I was the Genesis kid, so I grew up with a Genesis version of Aladdin. And of course, we know there's the long internet debate. What's the better version? Is it Super Nintendo or is it Genesis?
Super Nintendo.
I mean, having played a little bit of both, I can say that genuinely the Super Nintendo version is the better designed and polished video game. The Genesis version is hard in a way that I find genuinely just poorly designed and not fun. Whatever graphical enhancements it has over the Super Nintendo version, which, to be clear, Zach, the Genesis version had actual Disney animators working on it and doing the frames of animation for all the characters. So the animation in the game is great. That doesn't amount to great gameplay. That's kind of the thing with a lot of games of this era, where they tried to tout, look at our sprite work over game being stupid hard.
I did not know the opening cutscene was this long. I didn't actually know. I didn't even remember that this game had cutscenes, to be honest.
Yeah, this is pretty much how the Genesis version opens as well, just going into the whole opening with the Cave of Wonders. Oh no! Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Only one may enter. He must find this one. The diamond in the rough. I've been watching a lot of Disney movies lately with my brother, and I've been wanting to do Aladdin for BZ for a while, but I wanted to wait until we got to it, because I wanted to do a lot more random Disney movies before we got to, the Disney movies, the Renaissance era.
Yes, yeah, the late 80s and most of the 90s. At least until, like, Pocahontas.
Action.
And see, like, already, immediately, this has much more to do with what my memories of the movie are over the Genesis version, where he is swinging a scimitar and just murdering people.
Yeah, because I didn't play the Genesis version, but I did play the DOS version, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, my first time seeing Aladdin with a scimitar, I was like, wait a minute. To be fair, he's often given a scimitar as a weapon. In Kingdom Hearts, he does as well. But one reason I really like this game is I really like Aladdin's parkour.
Yeah, it feels good. It's like he has that kind of ledge grab you'd expect from more, rotoscoped platformers like Prince of Persia, but he has much more agility and verticality and just general better control than anything in the original Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah, this game controls really, really well, I think.
Because swinging is always something in particular that it feels like every game it's always clunkier than it needs to be in so many games.
Yeah, in this game, it just feels very satisfying to get like a combo of jumps. Oh, so I just now realized with this barrel setup, is this a reference to Mario? I never really thought of that before.
It does reflect that level design trope. It's that's kind of funny. But no flag to pull down here. Oh, look at that Mode 7 animation there.
Why is the genie here? We haven't found the lamp yet.
A lot of games of this era, and I've even seen some, like in the 2000s, had that problem too, where things were just like disjointed between characters and scenes and moments.
To be fair, it does make sense for the genie to be hosting a bonus minigame.
Yeah, it's true. Or breaking the fourth wall in general. So how was Aladdin when you and Alec were watching Disney movies recently and decided to revisit them? I assume Aladdin probably is one of the ones that still holds up pretty well.
Also, Breath of the Wild, eat your heart out. Not even a stamina meter. But Aladdin does hold up. It does have the issue that you would think it does, in that it's a movie about a different country that a bunch of middle-aged white guys wrote.
Yes.
And so it's a bit insensitive.
Sure.
Doesn't portray the culture very well, but in terms of just the story and the writing, it's still very good. But I do think there are better Disney movies, but it is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for so many children, myself included, that was the movie that introduced so many of us at a young age to the work of Robin Williams, who had mostly been an adult comic, or of course was known for the sitcom work in Mindy. And then after that, that was like part of when I began to follow that man's work, and he became kind of in some ways my inspiration when I began studying for college, because I was like, wow, look at this man's work ethic. Look at all these things he did, whether it was acting in sitcoms, doing stand-up, doing dramatic roles in movies, charity event hours with Comic Relief that he did with Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg. Just, I was like, I'm never going to be able to aspire to be like this man's work ethic, but I really, he's not a bad person to have as an inspiration for how you live your life, as just being somebody that everybody says was a good friend. For those of you that are interested in seeing a decent documentary about Robin Williams' life, not long after his passing, HBO Max released a documentary called Come Inside My Mind, which is basically it's a telling of Robin Williams' life with no narration. It's entirely told just through cut together clips of his career over the years and interviews with like his family and friends. And I thought that was just a really nice way of...
Oh, I thought I was going to grab the ledge there.
Of having his life told through his words. And it didn't shy away from the more negative aspects of Robin, too. I mean, his first wife doesn't shy away from the fact that the dude was snorting coke and cheating on her while they were together. But then Robin had kids and he cleaned his act up, and he became why everybody remembers him to this day. And why he will never be forgotten as one of the just like... Not even just like one of the Hollywood actors in terms of comedy, but just like one of just the human beings that so many people look up to. Which is funny too, especially when you look into like the backstory of this movie, where Robin was like, "Hey, you can't advertise this movie with just my name and my face. Like, I don't want to be just the marketing tool for this film." And Disney went, "No, that's cool," and then they did it anyway.
Yeah.
So it created that whole situation where he sued them, but eventually they worked things out, and he came back for like the third, Aladdin movie that was direct-to-video, Prince of Thieves. But yeah, there was always kind of weird blood after that point between Disney and Robin. But he's still, Zach, he came back for Old Dogs. I mean, he clearly had worked out his issues. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What the hell is Old Dogs?
I think he came... What was that? When did that come out? Like 2008 or something? That was a really, really shitty comedy with him and like John Travolta and a couple other like actors.
Oh, I keep forgetting I could throw apples.
I only remember it from the trailers where there was a guy in like a gorilla suit portraying like a gorilla for a scene in the movie where they're at a zoo and they're being attacked by the gorilla, and it's, yeah, the kind of slapstick you expect out of those kind of movies. See, it's the bad guy that has the sword here, not Aladdin. Yes, he has to do the ultra smash, like, charge up attack. Love that animation on Apu. That's so good.
Oh, yeah, I love how Apu follows you throughout the levels. I don't remember if he does that in the Genesis version.
A little bit, but not to the same degree. He'll show up sometimes, but Apu is more of a bonus level kind of character that you would control to pick up extra items in the Genesis version. He didn't really have all these other aspects to, being Aladdin's partner. Well, I guess we're in love now. Okay, see ya. Because presumably this is, the scene where when he helps her escape the market. But no, she's just there at the end of the market and just goes, "Hey, what's up?" and then leaves. Which is funny because nobody knows this version seems to exist except me. But like the Sega Master System version of Aladdin has long cutscenes that play out the story even better than the Super Nintendo and Genesis versions that just get every single main beat of the movie right and they're all long enough to give it the breadth that it needed to tell the story. It's bizarre that's the version that gets the story right.
I keep forgetting the Master System is even a system.
Yeah, it's strange, but there is actually a lot of Master System movie tie-ins that actually aren't that bad. Like Jurassic Park on Master System is actually pretty solid.
Thinking about an old classic Jurassic Park game makes me think of that one Super Nintendo one I played, and that one was awful.
Oh yeah, the one that is overhead but then switches to Doom when you go into buildings. I've always wanted to give it a shot because I know some people like it more than others, but yeah, my playing of the Master System version was much better. The Master System version is a side-scroller, where you sort of choose what dinosaurs you're going to put down in a Mega Man select screen, and then you have to drive to the dinosaur location, so you're fighting off Rexes chasing your car in the movie, or pterodactyls flying overhead that you have to shoot down, and you're doing it, one, to make it to the dinosaur, also because you'll get a bunch of extra lives if you can complete the level well enough. And then you actually get to the levels where like most Jurassic Park games of the 16-bit era, you were just blowing the shit out of dinosaurs, which, I thought you're supposed to be protecting them to some degree, or using tranquilizers, but no, you are murdering them.
I hope there's no Evans in this cave.
Wow. I mean, it does kind of look like the cave from that game. Or Zach is, of course, referencing Hook for the Super Nintendo.
And an old inside joke.
An old inside joke involving a Let's Play of Hook for the Super Nintendo that Zach did when he was... What were you? This would have been sophomore year of high school or something?
Probably junior. I think it was 16. Okay. Maybe 17.
Trying to think if there's... Because I have other stuff I want to say about Jurassic Park, but maybe it would be better until we actually go to a Jurassic Park game that we're nostalgic for. But, I mean, I'm trying to think what I would even do. Because you have the Super Nintendo one that a lot of people are nostalgic for. You got, but maybe I'll just do that Sega Master System version. Just, that game is hard, so I can't say that I'd be able to talk at the same time and actually finish it.
Oh, I forgot about the skeletons.
Oh man, Cursed Treasure, goddamn. I don't remember those in the movie. The Cave of Wonders always represented some of the best levels of either version of the Aladdin games, just because there's so much you could do with that environment. And then, of course, when they did it for Kingdom Hearts, of course they had to throw in the Cave of Wonders there too, because it's just a cool location. Oh, here we go again. What will Robin Williams give us this time?
Everybody be quiet. I'd like to hear the grass grow. My mom actually let me watch one of his stand-up specials that we owned on DVD. I watched that one obsessively. It's one of my favorite stand-up specials. I gotta go back to it one day. What was it? Live on Broadway, I think it was.
Yeah, that's one of his older ones. Yeah, the last one he did was called Weapons of Self-Destruction.
I think I did see that one, but it's been a very long time.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. It was very much, basically right after the Bush era, and Robin making fun of a lot of that kind of stuff. It's funny, he has a couple Donald Trump jokes in that one too. Before that, became much more relevant as time went on. But of course, Robin passed away in 2014, so he narrowly avoided all this shit. That said, I would have been really interested to hear how he would have reacted and what he would have had to say about this whole situation. I think he probably would have just been as baffled as the rest of us.
Yeah, I know a lot of people want to hear, like, George Carlin's take. Yeah, there's a weird amount of people who are George Carlin fans that George Carlin would have absolutely hated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like, in many cases, with a lot of comedians I watch, I just feel like when I'm listening to how the audience react to what they're saying, I get the vibe that the audience isn't really absorbing any of this. They're just kind of laughing at the swear words, and they're not really absorbing what they're trying to say with those words. Like, when George Carlin is being like, hey, nobody in the government is on your side, they own you, and they're gonna just keep pushing.
Going to a lighter subject. I already know, but for the audience, any favorite Disney movies? Okay, what would you say is your favorite Disney animated, and then what would you say is your least favorite / most hated? Because this is going to sound super specific. I hate when people use least favorite and most hated interchangeably. Least favorite should be one you like, but you like it the least, whereas most hated, obviously you just flat out don't like it and it makes you mad.
Well, I haven't seen these movies as recently as you have, Zach, by going through them, but in terms of what stands out in my mind as my favorite Disney animated films, in terms of like the classic era and just like kind of in general, I do really like Beauty and the Beast. I like the way that it portrays the relationship between those two and how natural it feels. It's funny, it's beautifully animated. It just like hits all the right notes of all these different Disney movies that falsely portray, what romance actually feels like in comparison to like how they would make fun of it with Frozen and the villain in Frozen. But Beauty and the Beast, to me, does the perfect job of, like, there's a time skip, but they don't give you a title card for it. So you don't know how long Beast and Beauty have been together, but it doesn't really matter. You can sort of imagine it in your head. And it works, because there actually is time given to this relationship as the two begin to understand each other, as opposed to other Disney movies that would later be parodied because they just immediately meet each other and they're in love.
Yeah, I get why it's made fun of, but I also understand why movies do it. It's just because the romance isn't the most critical aspect. It's just like, like with Aladdin and Jasmine, yeah, they fall in love really, really quick, and it's easy to make fun of, and I mean, I did while I was watching it, but I get why it's so quick, because Jasmine is Aladdin's main inspiration for the Prince Wish later on. Right.
I mean, to me, Aladdin's is fine because of the way that the two characters, their motivations are interacting off of each other in a way that totally makes sense. Jasmine sees Aladdin's freedom that she can't have when she's locked up in the palace, and, Aladdin sees just, how cool and how much wealth she has that he has never had in his life. But, the two, as they go on, realizing, what's actually important deep down. But there's thought put into that. There's others that are not so much that way.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Beauty and the Beast, definitely probably my favorite, especially in terms of the classic Disney animated films. My favorite Disney movie in general, I need to see it again because I only saw it once in theaters, but it's probably Zootopia. I think Zootopia is hilarious. I think it has great characters, and I find the mystery in that film genuinely engaging, and I love a lot of just the darker tone to it, as well as the heart and the messaging of what it's trying to say, which there's so many Disney movies that have pretty much nothing to say about anything.
No, that's not true. They say to follow your dream. Oh, this level.
So, have you seen what this looks like in the Genesis version?
I might have, but it's been a very long time.
So the Genesis version is more zoomed in. It goes super... the Genesis version goes super fast, and it has a bunch of, like, genie hands on the right side of the screen directing you up and down to warn you of, like, stalactites and stalagmites coming up. And many times, it will sometimes do a hand pointing up and a hand pointing down at the same time. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? It means you're supposed to stay in the middle. Which for some reason. And then you just die. Because you don't expect that. That level's insane. The music's great, though. Like, I really like the soundtrack to the Genesis version of Aladdin. It was composed by... Well, okay, I need to preface this. It might have been composed by Tommy Tallarico.
That name sounds familiar.
Tommy Tallarico was the main composer of Aladdin for the Genesis, and the things that have come out about him in the last couple of years, who knows if he really composed it or not, but the compositions are great in that game. Especially the Cave of Wonders level here with the carpet, but as well as like the level after that where you're just escaping the Cave of Wonders in a platforming section. Amazing music in that part. You are not familiar with all the crap about Tommy Tallarico, Zach?
Is he the one that bought Intellivision, or am I thinking of somebody else?
The one that made the
that shitty
Intellivision Amico?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
There's also a video, if you at all watch H-Bomber Guy, Zach, he put out a long video that started out as simply about the oomph sound in Roblox, that then became a deep dive into Tommy Tallarico's career, where you realize he may have not actually done anything that he claims that he did. Great video, well worth the watch, just absolutely insane. And then, yeah, this guy tried to sell you the Intellivision Amico, and it looks like... And, of course, it's never probably going to come out ever. There's people that own Intellivision Amico games. Because they released the games before the console came out. There's a video of Scott the Woz showing off the dumbest things he owns, and he just shows off a bunch of Amico games, which they're not even... There's nothing in the cases, Zach. They're fucking, like, digital codes.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like... But I guess Scott just couldn't pass up the opportunity to own something that probably is never going to exist. But, yeah, that was bad. Another one of the more visually creative levels in both versions of Aladdin, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. I love the visuals of the genie levels.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the rendition of Friend Like Me.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's great about playing these older Disney games, is how every level has some sort of song ripped right from the movie. I grew up a lot with Disney's Tarzan for the PS1, and that had renditions of all the different Phil Collins songs in that movie.
Tarzan is not one my brother and I have gotten to yet. We still got to do Little Mermaid. What's another one we still got to do? I know there's a few really well-known... I thought that was an enemy at first. No, Genie's my friend. I ain't ever had a friend...
That seems like it would be a platform, wouldn't it? Like that those pink clouds.
I'm gonna blame commentary. I got distracted by thinking.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I thought we were landing on clouds. No, I've been landing on Genie fingers the entire time. Oh my gosh. But
I don't know what I would say is least favorite Disney. Okay, well.
Oh, I can name a couple that I really don't like.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't want to speak to those because I haven't seen them recently. But, I mean, least favorite, I mean... I want to say Wish, but I also don't want to give Wish...
Shit.
But I also don't want to give Wish even that much credit.
Oh, yeah, Wish isn't very good, but it's not even bad enough to be that awful.
It's kind of worse in some ways. It's just really... Yeah. That movie's really mediocre. Besides some moments of comedy that did work, like the bear in Wish is still an amazing character. And yet he
best character in the movie.
And he has 4 lines of dialogue. Yeah, Wish is pretty middling. I mean, I know you hate Black Cauldron.
Oh, Black Cauldron is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Black Cauldron is my most hated Disney animated movie.
Right, I'm sure I'd feel the same if I saw it again. I saw it like on Toon Disney when I was a child. I don't know. In terms of like least favorite, I mean, I have to go through them again, I guess, to put them on like a scale. I have quite a bit of affection for Hunchback. I like that.
Hunchback is one we got to get to as well. I know I was forgetting one.
Yeah, I'm much more a fan of the 1940s adaptation of Hunchback of Notre Dame starring Charles Laughton, but the Disney movie has wonderful music. I always do like listening to the songs from that version, even if I don't think it's necessarily the best version of that story. Frollo's one of my favorite Disney villains, but I don't think the movie itself... I think there are better adaptations of the Hunchback of Notre Dame out there. I mean, that's kind of something that inspired me more and more. Oh, least favorite? Maybe it's Peter Pan.
Oh, Peter Pan.
Because I don't like hate Peter Pan, Disney's Peter Pan or anything, but when I was going through every single version of Peter Pan that exists in terms of film, whether it's the silent film or the 1920s, the 2003 version with Jeremy Irons, and Jason, well, not Jeremy Irons, Jason Isaacs and Jeremy Stumpter. Yeah, this is a hard one, isn't it?
Nah, I just am being...
Well, there's a lot of bottomless pits.
Yeah. I could be using the hang glider more often.
But no, I genuinely... I have bias towards Peter Pan, because on one hand, I'm also like a pretty decent fan of the book, as well as like some of the better film adaptations of it, where there's a lot more depth to the characters and story. Well, the Disney movie might as well be a bunch of kids go on adventure and then go home. Like, that's as much depth as the Disney film has.
Oh my god.
But, otherwise, the cartoon... beautifully, lavishly animated. I do like the cartoons version of Captain Hook. He's fun. But I'm not really big on... I think that version of Peter Pan's okay, and I find that movie mostly just kind of irritating, because all of my memories of watching the original Peter Pan are a group of children who just never stop talking or yelling or arguing at pretty much any time in that movie. It's always the Lost Boys and Michael and John just complaining about things.
Yeah, that is true.
Or I genuinely do not like the song Following the Leader.
I was actually gonna sing that just to annoy you specifically.
I find that song genuinely irritating. I mean, you know, the less said about fucking what paints the red man red, the better. I mean, dear God. Yeah. I think that's a fair reason to also not like that movie very much. No, there's way better versions of Peter Pan. The fucking silent film from the 1920s is a better Peter Pan movie than the Disney film.
But Brandon, why does he ask you how?
No.
Yeah, that part is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Peter Pan. I don't know. I'm sure the first Rescuers isn't that great. If I went back and watched that,
yeah.
I mean, everybody talks about Down Under. Nobody talks about the first one.
I think I saw the original a very, very long time ago, but I don't remember it.
Sure. Jeez, all the tongues. Why is Genie trying to kill us? Like, what is the context of these levels?
It's just, you know, he's having a wacky old time.
Like I think the intent is this is us playing the Friend Like Me song.
Oh yeah.
But
why is Genie trying to kill us? That is a good question.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Aladdin was in no sense of danger in that sequence in... But sure, I get it. It makes a good aesthetic for a level that can have, like, creative level design. It's just, ugh. I assume you have not seen the live-action remake of Aladdin with Will Smith, right?
No, I have not, and I do not plan on it. I like to watch some shit sometimes, but the Disney live-action stuff, it has nothing to do with them being good or bad. don't like the fact that they exist at all.
You gotta catch up, Zach. As of the Friday of this recording, Snow White comes to theaters.
Yeah, I think the live-action Lilo and Stitch one is coming out at some point.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything I can say about what I've seen about the remake of Snow White, it's that it's not going to be just a straight scene-by-scene remake.
Why did I not hit jump?
Of the movie over. The Lilo and Stitch one just looks like the same goddamn movie, just weaker.
I will say at least the CG Stitch in it doesn't look that bad.
Well, I mean,
especially if you compare it to the live-action Little Mermaid animals.
Where they just made them realistic animals.
Yeah,
I mean...
I'm not saying Stitch looks that great.
He just looks like the cartoon. Like, they didn't really change him that much. Which, you know, I think a lot of companies are learning that now after the Sony Sonic the Hedgehog debacle. They're just like, let's not touch these designs. But even then, it just further makes everything feel pointless to me when you're doing remakes of animated things. Like How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless in that live-action trailer looks exactly like Toothless. And I'm just like, that should be a positive, but to me I'm just like, well, okay, then what's the fucking point? Like, why do I care about any of this? And I think it's a couple elements. I think these are happening, one, because of the success of, like, you know, Disney's doing their live-action adaptation. They're making, like, $1 billion a movie. And so, you know, DreamWorks is like, well, we gotta hop on this too. And also because, of course, Universal Studios is doing their theme park coming up that's going to have a How to Train Your Dragon section in it that's getting added onto Universal Studios. So, of course, let's have a movie to tie into that. But why can't it just be a new How to Train Your Dragon movie? Why does it have to be a live-action, frame-by-frame remake of a movie that you're not going to be able to top because it's one of DreamWorks' best films? I love both How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2. 3's okay.
Yeah, 3 is fine. We can't live with the dragons, Brandon. Humanity is awful.
Yes,
we cannot.
We must send them away.
We must build a wall between us and the dragon.
Yes.
There is no wall, but for some reason I remember watching that movie and getting that vibe.
I mean, that's funny, too, and the second movie is all about a villain who's trying to take all their dragons away from them. And they're like, no, give us back our dragons.
But no, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is really, really good.
Would you still say Kung Fu Panda 2 is probably your favorite DreamWorks movie? Because I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Probably, but I might feel similar, but I don't know, man. Last Wish is really fucking good.
Oh, okay.
Last Wish is
actually,
great.
yeah, Last Wish, yeah.
Probably Last Wish.
Yeah, it's Last Wish.
Yeah.
Generic pick, sure, but sometimes a movie's just that good.
Yeah, it's really good. But How to Train Your Dragon's great, and then Kung Fu Panda 2 is excellent. Until the ending, but you know, whatever. And then, it did surprise us too that we went to see Kung Fu Panda 4 and it actually was still pretty fun. That's actually not a bad movie at all.
I think it's better than 3.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Well, there goes your life, Zach.
I have 4 credits. I will continue.
Alright, and we have a half hour on the docket.
Yeah, I'll talk about my favorite and most hated Disney movie first, and then we'll stop.
Sure.
Oh no, I lost my parachute because I got a game over.
Yep.
Because that's a temporary power-up. But I do appreciate that they let you keep it until a game over at the very least. But man, it makes this game so much easier. You wouldn't know because I kept falling off of pits, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, most hated, Brandon brought it up. Black Cauldron's awful. It is not only the worst Disney animated movie I've seen, it's one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Now, it's not worse than Ghoulies 3.
I'm sure it has good animation at least, right?
I did not... Oh yeah, it has great animation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to crumble underneath me. Besides the animation, it has some of the worst characters. I hate the main cast.
Yeah.
Okay, the princess... I think she's a princess. The girl, she's fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't do much. No character in that movie does really anything.
Right.
Which is kind of why I don't like the main cast. He gets a cool magic sword that the trailer really hypes up, which is what made my brother really, really want to see it. And he has the sword for one action scene, and then he has to give it away to these witches with big boobs. And the movie will remind you that they have big boobs.
Yes.
I don't know why there's like a scene that is, I swear, 2 or 3 minutes long of one of the characters getting transformed into a frog, and then they want to cook him as a frog. And so he hides in the fat witch's titties for like, it's probably not 3 minutes, but God, when we were watching it, that movie's, I don't even think, not even 90 minutes. That movie felt like 3 hours. It was agonizing.
Yeah.
It has a cult following, apparently. I don't know why, because it's slightly darker.
Yeah.
But it isn't even really. It has a sort of darker aesthetic. The Horned King kind of looks neat. The problem is that he doesn't do fucking shit either.
Yeah.
He has a cool design, and that's all he has. He dies in the dumbest way. He goes to reach for the main character. The main character kicks him, and then the Horned King very, very slowly... oh my god. The Horned King very slowly starts stumbling over to the Black Cauldron and then just falls inside. And that's how he loses.
Great. Makes me almost want to read the book just to see if it's... I mean, obviously it's going to be better than that movie. But...
It has to be. I don't see how it could be worse.
Yeah, because, you know, there has to be something that... Some sort of reverence or legacy of that book as to why they would make a film adaptation out of it. That makes me... Thinking of that era of animation, Zach, just makes me think you should also at some point watch some Don Bluth movies.
Oh, yeah. I do want to rewatch Secret of NIMH. I have seen that movie as a kid, but I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I fucking love
I really did like Secret of NIMH.
I love Secret of NIMH. But the thing is, when you compare it to, like, his other filmography... American Tail's a fun movie. Let's see.
I can't remember if I've ever seen American Tail. We owned 5 Goes West. I can't remember if I've actually seen the first one.
I saw it at some point. I have much more nostalgia for 5 Goes West just being a fun movie. And then he made Land Before Time.
Oh yeah, I've seen Land Before Time. I've seen a lot of the Land Before Time movies.
Well, he just made the first one.
Oh yeah. I think that's the most recent one I saw, because I think my brother and I were just watching random movies we owned.
Yeah.
Because it was summer vacation and we stayed up all night, so we would just watch random things because we didn't want to go to sleep because it was summer vacation. There's no bedtime. There's no bedtime in summer vacation. Let's watch random movies like Land Before Time 1, which is still really good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Very dark. I mean, that's blues films in general. Recently, I was at a friend's house, and we strategically chose some of Don Bluth's worst movies. So,
that's the second time I died there. What the fuck?
So, since I was a child, I finally got to rewatch The Pebble and the Penguin.
Oh, that was the one I was going to jokingly bring up.
Oh my god, Zach, that movie, holy shit. It's pretty bad. It has some actually okay songs in it. I will never be able to get the Good Ship Misery out of my head as long as I live. But, it's also just not very likable main cast. It has a lot of problems.
Oh my god, that was really stupid of me.
And then, my friend also introduced me, because I'd never seen this one, I watched Thumbelina for the first time. And, that's much worse. Thumbelina, like, actively is pretty bad. And, you know what? I mean, well, there's many villains in Thumbelina, but you know who are among the main villains of Thumbelina?
Who?
Mexican frog stereotypes.
Oh, good.
And they suck. Oh no, were they frogs or were they insects? It was something like that. But they were just like really bad Mexican stereotypes.
Did Don Bluth ever make that Dragon's Lair movie?
No, he's been trying. Like, the dude is still alive. He's like 86 or something. But he's been trying to get that to finally happen for ages. And every single, like, crowdfunding campaign he's tried to do to make it happen just never pans out. Last I heard from Don, he still, like, draws, like, every day. And he works as, like, a, he's head of, like, the theater department of, like, the theater of his, like, the town he lives in currently. But now he's never been able to do that. He still wants to, even at his very old age, but I doubt it'll happen. I feel like nostalgia for Dragon's Lair is like long since dried up and is now cracking.
Oh, finally. But yeah, real quick.
Alright, Zach, it might be time to rein it in here. I think that's
No,
enough.
I have to talk about how good the original Lilo and Stitch is first.
Okay.
Although, I think it there would have been funny. Lilo and Stitch is my favorite animated Disney movie. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. We rewatched it recently, and I liked it as a kid, but I have so much more of an appreciation for it now as an adult. Lilo is a well-written child where she's not overly perfect, and, you know, she's, like, very... She can have her moments of being bad, but you also, like, get why.
She's also weird.
Yeah.
Like the fucking collage in her room of people she took pictures of at the beach.
And, yeah, and I think it's important to note, she's weird, like, actually weird, not just the quirky, oh, you know, fucking, oh, our family's so quirky, ooh.
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah, I do like that movie.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that movie too. But the climax does do that "we're so weird" trope in a really kind of shitty way.
Oh, there is no way I'm going to be able to beat this boss with 0 lives and 2 hearts, unless I could throw apples at it. Me.
What a hard boss. Oh wait, is there more?
I would assume there is.
Nope.
Oh. I expected more.
That's genuinely some good personality there.
But yeah, Lilo and Stitch. If you have not seen it somehow, watch the original animated movie, not the live action.
Yeah, don't go see the remake. Who cares?
Even if the remake's good, it's probably just going to be the animated movie again.
Yes, and I admit, like the shots I've seen in the trailer of the clips of the actress they cast as Lilo, I'm not feeling it. She just feels she feels too stiff. Maybe it'll change when I actually see the movie, but the voice acting of the original film is not going to be topped.
But alrighty, yeah, we went for 40 minutes. I somehow knew we were going to go for 40 minutes. I had a feeling, because I made the joke, we're going to make a short one, but short one for us is 45 minutes, and look, it's been nearly 45 minutes.
Yep.
A whole new world. Discard your hand and then draw 7.
Never do that again, Zach. Never do that again.
And with that, we're done.
Okay, good.
Have a good night.